जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad को 50 एक्सप्रेस पॉलोबोटी स्टेशन नेताजी भवन कृपया ध्यान दो।
Hello and welcome to this beautiful Saturday, the first of the double headers. Well, it's a beautiful. Someone's phone's ringing. Hello. It's us trying to call you to tell you to tune in. Let's go. It's time to go. Hello and welcome. This is Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. It's a good Saturday for us because we're sitting here in air conditioning, whereas it's fairly hot in other parts of the world. But you don't need to be outside because you're not playing, right? You're just sitting and chilling with us. I've got Joy Bhattacharjya here with me in the studios. Hello, sir. How are you?
We are good, very, very good. And Kolkata is playing. I just want you to know.
We'll get to that in just a second. So excited. Jeez, look at him. Hashtag loyalty. And we've got another dear friend of ours who likes us but doesn't like us enough to actually be here with us. He's joining us. Michael Vaughan joining us from the UK. Wani, what's up, man? Why you not? Why we smell? Do we smell bad? What's the problem?
Look, can I first just stop? That was my phone ringing. I'm sorry about that. I will be in Mumbai. I'm coming to the studio. I think I arrive on April the 18th. So I'll be there from around the 18th of April for 2 weeks. So I will be seeing you in person. But for this weekend, I'm sat in a friend's house. My house is being renovated. So I'm in a friend's house on his computer. But it's great to be on the show. Can't wait for this year's IPL.
It's okay. Obviously, he's a better friend of yours than we are because you could have just been here in the studio. But anyway, we'll let that slide for now. And we shall tell you what's going on today. There's 2 games being played. The first one is in Mohali. Now, remember last night, or actually earlier today, because yesterday's game went on for about 16 hours, and it was Saturday by the time we finished. We said to you that it may be raining. That was my little cousin from Mohali, who obviously was looking up at night and seeing clouds when you don't think you can see too many at that time. But the good thing is that they have cleared and there's going to be no rain. So Mr. Harsha Bhogle is very happy. He can throw that umbrella that he carried, which he uses to fly like Mary Poppins. But there's going to be a game apparently. As Kolkata playing Punjab. That's the first game of the day today. That's happening in Mohali. After which the action moves to Lucknow, where Lucknow will be hosting the Delhi team. So those are the 2 games that are happening. Let's focus on the first one now. Kolkata, of course, depleted because of missing their skipper. Their skipper, of course, got injured, a back injury. Not sure. Looks like he will not be getting surgery, but just doing rehab, which means that he's going to be gone for a fair part of the tournament. Hopefully not the whole tournament for the Knight Riders, and Nitish Rana is going to be captaining. But Wani, just to bring you in on this, I mean, Ajay Jadeja, Virender Sehwag, all the batters talking in the studio saying they've heard bowlers getting back injuries, but batters getting back injuries is something new that we're seeing in world cricket these days.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's not surprising with the swing that these guys put into their bat swings and the positioning of some of the shots. They get themselves in some awkward positions. So unless he plays a bit of golf, and I'm sure golf would have affected his back also. Or these things happen. You get an injury or so. It's not always an injury that you would expect a batter to get, but hopefully he'll be back later on in the tournament, and he'll be hoping that by the time he's back, his team is still in the competition. That's what it's all about. It's such a long process, the IPL, that you want to start well, but there's so many games that you need to play. It's about peaking at the right time and just making sure that you're still in the competition later on in about 6 weeks' time.
Joy, Nitish Rana is obviously a very experienced campaigner himself. Let's not talk about Shreyas, the captain, but Knight Riders will miss Shreyas, the batter, for sure.
Huge, because their Indian batting they needed. And last year, Venkatesh Iyer also didn't come to the party. They need their Indian batsmen to fire with their captain gone. There's so much in Nitish Iyer. Yeah. And Nitish Rana's problem is he's been that 400 kind of guy.
Yeah.
But for them to go forward, he needs to be that 500, 550 kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because the 400 will not do it for them. Their big problem is that their ace player, somebody like an Andre Russell, he's playing at 6. He's he's done.
He's
the
been part of the leadership group, is what he says, in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's been a senior player. He's been an important player for the Knight Riders.
the
but
vice
now-
captain last year.
Yeah, but now he's got the captain tag. It does make a difference, right? It's not just the tag. It comes with a lot more responsibility.
A lot
than
more
vice captain.
responsibility. But let me tell you one thing. Again, we talk about this one thing. Whose team is it? Is this a coach's team? Is it a captain's team? Is it an owner's team? This is a coach's team. Chandrakant Pandit is used to, won it with Bombay, won it with Vidarbha, won it with Madhya Pradesh. So he's a kind of, he's a coach who sort of, he takes his kids and sort of, he's a disciplinarian, he calls stuff out. So this is very much a coach's team, and basically Nitish has to actually obey that game plan, play out that game plan which Chandrakant Pandit has done. And by bringing in the guys he wants, like Lockie Ferguson up front or Shardul Thakur up front, Chandrakant Pandit is saying, this is my team, this is the team I want.
Yeah.
So Nitish Rana, yes, big responsibility, but perhaps not as much given the kind of coach Chandrakant Pandit is.
Yeah, well, Vonnie, you stole their coach. Yeah, and he's doing wonders for the England Test team.
Yeah, the Bazball, the combination with Ben Stokes, it's been a revelation, not just for obviously England's Test match cricket. I think globally, I think it's been a way of playing that I think many other teams are going to try and follow suit. Just this aggressive nature. The captaincy thing in T20 cricket is always interesting, because I think of all the formats, it really is a format that you've got to get your tactics right and you've got to get your strategies right, but you've just got to perform well yourself. You don't really last as a T20 captain if you're not performing well yourself. In Test match cricket as a captain, you can have 2 or 3 games where you don't play well, but your captaincy is outstanding. You can see that you've made tactical manoeuvres that have helped the game. In T20 cricket, it's so fast and sharp that it really is important that you produce the performances yourself as a player. So I'm interested to see how he goes. Really good player, really good batter. They always have that, you always get, that question as a captain, how's it going to affect your batting? I don't think it'll affect it too much. He'll be very excited about getting this KKR motion up and running this year and getting a few runs for them.
I got to tell you, though, there's similarity between the two teams in Punjab and the Knight Riders who are playing today. Both have top order left-handed batters who are going to be captains, right? One, of course, for Kolkata, not too much captaincy experience. The other one hasn't had IPL captaincy experience for a while, has a lot of India captaincy experience, Shikhar Dhawan, because, he was kind of babysitting the second team, so to speak, while, maybe Test cricket was being played or the seniors were resting. It was Shikhar Dhawan who was kind of babysitting the players. So it's quite interesting. But in the IPL, the last full season he had as a captain was 2015. After that, I think maybe he captained the odd game. Maybe last year he captained one game when Mayank was not available. But Sunrisers, 2015, was his last captaincy stint. And I find that absolutely fascinating, that India thought him good enough as a captain, but none of the IPL teams in the last 7 years have given him captaincy.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't think he's a natural captain. I think he's a fantastic, happy-go-lucky player who goes there, enjoys himself, expresses himself, which is why, especially when they were sending young teams, they like him around, because he's like, come on, youngsters, we'll get it done together, go to Sri Lanka together, play, make them come. But, if you see the teams that he's been with, Sunrisers, they've then had somebody like David Warner coming in as captain. Exactly, Williamson coming in as captain. So he's never had that opportunity. Comes out here, they have KL Rahul, then they had Mayank Agarwal. So they felt that these players in the ascent. And I think once that 17, 18 passed, then it was almost about, I think he's passed that opportunity to be captain.
Yeah.
And now he's come back, he's captain. It's almost like an afterthought that's saying that, okay, who's a senior player left? Mayank Agarwal's gone. We need some continuity. Here's a senior guy who plays for India. And see, what do you need in a captain? A guy who picks himself for all matches, because you need that. A certain amount of seniority and a certain amount of experience would be useful. And, well, he's done that. I think they looked around and they said he's the best choice they have.
Yeah, but look at him. He's also been Mr. Consistent, right? Wani, look, he shows up every year and just gets the job done. No fuss.
Yeah, as a team, you know what you get him, and those numbers don't lie. A very regular performer, consistency. Again, in T20 cricket, you don't always think that players are going to be consistent because they have to take too many risks. Well, Shikhar is one of those players that you can pretty much lock in for regular runs. You see that he's always scored over 400 runs, which is a good amount in IPL cricket. The captaincy is an interesting one because I don't see Shikhar as a natural leader either. I just see him as this, brilliant player. Great fun. I can imagine being in the dressing room with him, having a load of fun. So I'm intrigued to see how that kind of goes into the captaincy, because the one thing I always say to captains is, if you are a certain type of person, don't change when you become the captain. Don't suddenly start being serious if you're a fun-loving kind of guy. And I think Shikhar is that kind of character. If he gets it right and he is that kind of cool, calm, fun guy in the dressing room, and he can transfer that into the team, they could put up some dangerous performances. What you don't want to see from Shikhar is suddenly the captain's armband and he starts to be serious. He starts to take life far too serious, because I just don't think that's going to work. He's got to be himself. As I said, I don't see him as a natural leader. But in T20 cricket, I don't think you have to be a natural leader. I think you just got to be a very good player. He is that. I think he's obviously going to be tactically very astute because he's experienced and has seen pretty much everything that T20 cricket can throw at you. So he should be fine in that aspect. And the amount of help they get from the analysts these days, all the captains go out with all these matchups in their head, which has all been done by the computer. So he'll have all that. The one thing he has to produce is runs. If he can produce runs, the captaincy will look after itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Punjab, right? Punjab's captaincy musical chairs. If you stick around in the team long enough, your turn will come as captain. And it has this season for Mr. Consistent. All right, well, it hasn't begun well for him toss-wise, because it's the Knight Riders that have won the toss and decided that they're going to have a bowl first. And Shikhar said that he would have bowled first as well, but doesn't have a choice in the matter because he's going to be batting first. Let's have a look at the 11 that he's taking onto the field here. Him as captain, Prabsimran Singh opening with him. We discussed that last evening in the preview. Then Bhanuka, love Bhanuka, big hitter, Rajapaksha at 3. Sikandar Raza, we also discussed this yesterday and thought he would get a shoe-in. Jitesh Sharma hit showed us his pedigree last year, couple of big hits there that you can still remember. I think the ball's still travelling on those. Sam Curran, the most expensive buy. Shah Rukh Khan, an expensive buy for them as well, and he would like to show what he's made of because he can also hit the ball hard. Nathan Ellis, Harpreet Brar, Rahul Chahar and Arshdeep Singh Joy. Congratulations to us. We pretty much picked the 11 last night.
We picked the 11 last night. But I just want to tell you exactly, we were talking about Shikhar Dhawan and the way he captains. And he comes onto the field and he says, my 4 foreign players are so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Oh, I've forgotten the name of the 4th. And that's so Shikhar Dhawan. He says that, okay, the Ellis is there and he just forgot Sikandar Raza's name.
Yeah.
And that is what he is. But the point of it is, he's absolutely right, that if he continues to play, as long as he's having fun, there's enough stuff going on off the field. Trevor Bayliss has this whole battery of people who will be researching it, putting stuff together. He's just got to listen and he's just got to inspire his team. He does that much. It's not a bad team. Again, this is a team which that horrible word you use, with potential. Lots of potential in the team. Lots of big hitters, lots of opportunities.
Great players doesn't always translate into a great
not
team,
yet a
right?
team. Yeah, not yet a team.
Some magic has to happen over there, definitely.
Fixie does something.
Well, at least what Vaughan was saying, that Shikhar shouldn't change. He's not changing because that's exactly him, remembering 3 foreigners, forgetting the 4th. And if memory was something to judge a captain by, well, I'll just tell you it's not, because look at Hardik. Hardik forgot the entire 11 yesterday, right? Rohit Sharma once forgot if he wanted to bat or bowl. So I don't think that memory is something that you judge a captain by, right, Vaughan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as long as you get 11 players on the field as a captain, you've done your job.
Yeah, that's right.
If you forget a few names, it's irrelevant. Get out there. I love T20 cricket for that. I think there's so much going on in T20 cricket with all the particularly in the IPL. There's so many changes from game to game. There's so many tactical changes. There's so many matchups that you have to remember. You're bound to remember the odd squad member, but it always seems to be at this stage of the IPL that you look at every team and every team just looks strong.
Yeah.
Every team just looks like they've got most teams now have everything covered. It really is just about that combination. Can you get your combinations right? Can you get your top order playing well? Can you get your death bowlers working well? Have you got your spinners working at the right time? Who are your wicket-taking options? The fielding positions? Have you got the people in the right fielding positions? All these little things obviously help to get your team being consistent. But when you look at all the teams on paper from 1 to 11, they all look so strong.
I guess the difficulty for most teams happens because you have, 24 players and then picking the correct combination. And now with the impact player coming in as well, sometimes you feel like there's just too many options, and the 19-20 difference can really affect a result. Wani says that all the 11s are strong. Let's see what Knight Riders have done with their 11, because they, of course, are missing their captain, Shreyas Iyer. They've got Nitish Rana, who's captaining, and this is the field. This is the 11 he's taking on the field.
There's a big player missing.
1 second. Let's have a look there. Well, we'll get to that. Mandeep Singh opening with Cricbuzz. We spoke about that yesterday. Nitish Rana at 3, Rinku Singh at 4, Andre Russell, Shardul Thakur, Sunil Narayan, Tim Saudi, Anukul Roy, Umesh Yadav and Varun Chakravarti, which means, Joy, Lockie Ferguson, for whom they paid a boatload of cash, is not there. Is he injured? Is he not arrived? Is everything all right?
And Venkatesh Iyer, who they retained, is not there.
Oh, hang on. Hello.
The man they retained over Shubman Gill is not there. Shubman Gill was not retained because Venkatesh Iyer was retained. He's not there in the team.
What is going on?
Is he injured? We don't know. There's no word as yet out. But definitely. But look, if Chandrakant Pandit feels that these are the best 5 batsmen he had, Indian batsmen he would have played them. He wouldn't bother whether they've been retained, not retained. Remember, Chandrakant Pandit has been Madhya Pradesh coach.
Yeah.
He's coached Venkatesh Iyer. So he knows
yeah.
exactly what Venkatesh Iyer is about. So if he's not injured, it's an interesting decision. It's something that set the cat among the pigeons. But it also shows that Chandrakant Pandit is, if he's not injured, doesn't bother about names and reputations. He's saying, on form, these are the best players I have.
Okay, fair enough. But sitting on the outside, and again, this is Chandrakant Pandit's first time. He's obviously got a brilliant domestic pedigree. He's proven pomfret, as they call it, right? He's a proven pomfret. But it does, Vani, surprise you a little bit that the player that they transferred and got him from Gujarat for 10 crores, that's Lockie Ferguson, and their number 4 retention, he was their number 4 retention, right? Venkatesh Iyer, both not making the playing 11.
Yeah, again, we'll have to wait and see if there's a niggle or two. As I said, the IPL is so long, you don't want to risk players if they've got, even if it's just a slight niggle, you wouldn't want to risk them in the first game. Lockie Ferguson is a big blow. I say all the 11s look really strong. KKR's team don't look, you've got a bit of quality and a bit of experience, obviously, in Narayan and Andre Russell, but from 1 to 11, I can see a team that's just lacking a little bit of that X factor.
Yeah.
And Russell and Narayan, they're not getting any younger. All right, they've been quality, but to still be relying on that pairing, I do think you need a bit more of the X factor. And Lockie Ferguson is that difference in the bowling attack. He bowls 90 odd miles an hour. He's got that ability to get wickets across the 20 overs. So let's wait and see on those 2 that are missing out. But I know Joy's a big KKR man, but I'm sorry, Joy, I don't give you that much hope this year with that team that I'm seeing on the screen.
Shots fired.
Yeah, but very interesting thing. I was just looking again at the pre-game show and what Nitish Rana said. And he turns around and says, right at the end, that let's hope the decisions we have taken prove to be right.
Okay.
So when he's talking about decisions, that means possibly, he didn't say somebody's injured, somebody's had a niggle. He says, let's hope the decisions we have taken prove to be right. So I don't think there's an injury issue. I think this is what the coach wants. And look at it this way. If with this team, dropping 2 obvious players, Lockie Ferguson and Venkatesh Iyer, they go and win it, then that whole aura around Chandrakant Pandit saying, this is a guy who's a magician who comes, drops, doesn't take the obvious choices and wins. So it's a win-win for them.
Okay.
They've got a bit of moisture.
Yeah.
Saudi's got the ball.
This I'm just saying, let's speak in their defense now, right?
Yeah.
I'll speak in Knight Riders' defense. If your choice is one foreign seamer, it's Lockie Ferguson or Tim Saudi. That's a tough choice, and you don't blame anybody, Wani, if they go with Saudi. Look at that. That's like a warehouse of experience.
Yeah. Saudi's outstanding, and he also offers you just a little bit down the back end. He can hit a ball out the ground as well. So he's a quality T20 player. But I just think Lockie Ferguson's got that wow factor. I just think he might travel. He might always go for a few runs. But I look at bowlers that can really impact the game with getting wickets throughout the 20 overs. And I think Lockie can do that. Look, your job as a manager, as a captain, as a coach, is to try and get the best 11 for that day. So I'm always complimentary of captains and coaches that make brave decisions. And brave decisions is the decisions that they've made today, because we're talking about it. It's always easy to put an 11 out that we all have nothing to talk about because it's so obvious the day before that team's going to play. So full credit, it's a risk, because I do think with risk becomes a chance of being criticised if it doesn't go right. But with that, if it goes really right, you've got these players waiting in the wings, and you get a win to start the competition.
Yeah.
It's a brave call, I'll have to say. It's a very brave call, but they'll believe it's the right decision for today's game.
There are some big hitters in Punjab as well. So you're thinking that Saudi, with a little bit of swing, can perhaps potentially trouble the batters a little more than Loki's pace, which they may like on a ground like Mohali. So there you go. That could be. But Kolkata bowlers have done well. There's some empirical evidence there. What they've done against, Punjab and, the Punjab batters. So see that.
So
right.
Sunil Narine always has been terrific against Punjab.
But he's terrific against
every
everyone.
team, exactly.
He's just terrific.
But again, Shardul Thakur is a great bowler. And I think, look, that's what they're saying. They're saying there's a bit of swing out there. Shardul Thakur can swing it. Umesh Yadav can swing it. Saudi can swing it.
Yeah.
If they start getting early wickets, because this Punjab batting unit is very explosive but vulnerable.
Okay.
There's no Liam Livingstone. There's no Johnny Bairstow. You're missing a bit of international experience out there. And Johnny Bairstow is gone for the season. So they're saying if you get, Mandeep he's been seasoned, he's been around. But they get Mandeep, they get a couple of wickets out there. They think there's an opportunity out there. Rajapaksa is very much a hit or miss man, When he gets it right, he gets it right. When he doesn't, he doesn't. So if there's suddenly 3 in about 5-6 overs, this could be a very different match. And I think that's how they're playing it. And they feel that Saudi will give them that swing up front, a little bit of movement swing, Saudi, Umesh and Shardul.
No, wait. Mandeep's Calcutta.
No. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Shikhar and Prabh Simran.
Yeah, Prabh Simran. Sorry,
Yeah,
not
this
Punjab.
happens. This happens because Mandeep is from Punjab.
And has played for Punjab for many years.
Yeah.
But before he played for Punjab, he played for Calcutta.
Yeah, I was like, 1 second, something is. I said, why is Saudi bowling to Mandeep?
Yeah,
I was like, I
My
don't know,
bad.
that doesn't look right. But coming to Punjab, of course, the big talk in the auction, and they always do that, right? They get these big buys and then they let them go. So they always go shopping into the auction with the biggest briefcases, right? They're going with sacks of cash and they're not afraid to spend them. And this time they weren't as well. And they've done it with Sam Curran. But Voni, I've got an interesting stat for you. You want to have a look at it. We've called it the curse of the purse. Whichever team has the biggest buy in the year, well, this is where they finish. 4th, 6th, 5th, 7th, 10th. Ooh, somebody went digging and found this. It's interesting. This year, that's Sam Curran.
Yeah, do you know what? I like it. I like the fact that you've analysed that an individual and the most expensive individual, so you buy a individual into a team framework, doesn't work. It's about the team, it's about the collective, but it's also, it's not down to the players that we're mentioning on that screen about the value. They just go into the auction and they get paid for a huge amount of money. And you understand why these players go to the team, but it just proves to you that you can buy one individual player, and unless everything around it is correct in terms of the framework of the team and the culture around the dressing room, it doesn't always work. What I will say about Sam Curran is he's one of my favourite cricketers because I just think he's a magnificent cricketer to watch. With the ball, he's got this great skill of swinging it early up front. He's got these great slow balls at the back end now. He's got Yorkers, slow ball bouncers, wide Yorkers. He's smart. He likes the competitive action. He likes being under pressure. And he's also very dangerous with the bat.
Yeah.
He's a 6 hitter. And I think that, what they should do with Sam this year, obviously he's bowling, he'll be a 4 over every game type of bowler, but I think you can play his batting. He's obviously a left-hander, using the left-hand, right-hand combination and get him up the order. Get him up the order at times. When you feel there's a matchup and there's a combination that you can throw him up there to go and challenge whoever they're playing against, particularly spin, he hits spin a long, long way. I'd be using him as a floater in that batting lineup. I think he's a really dangerous batter.
Dhoni did that for Chennai. In fact, Dhoni was using Sam Curran as a floater. In fact, I was quite convinced a couple of seasons ago that MS had kind of adopted Sam Curran. He was kind of babysitting him, carrying him around. So it was no surprise that he was the highest pick. I had him down as one of my top 3 picks, especially after what had happened in the World Cup, and he was brilliant in the World Cup. But then again, right, I always say, it's not the player who decides their price, right? It's the demand and supply. It's the team that's going after them. So never grudge them. And the player purse, I think, by the way, should be more, and we'll talk about it some other time. But again, the player doesn't choose that. But can it add pressure? This age-old question. Can it add pressure on a player? Do they have to they have to shut that noise out and forget about that paycheck, which they didn't decide in the first place.
Yeah, look, some can, some can't. I've seen it really wear on players, sit very heavily on players, and I've seen players who don't care. You know, it just varies from player to player. And I think it's easier when you are a more experienced international player, because international cricket brings a certain amount of pressure no matter what you do. When you wear your country's badge and walk out there, it brings... So, for example, Pawan Negi, if you remember, was one of the most expensive players in the auction, and he disappeared after that. Because it was just too much for him to take, saying that, you know, I'm a domestic player and suddenly I'm getting paid more than all these international greats. So sometimes it does, more specifically than others, and there are some who wear it lightly. Like when Dhoni came in 2008, I am the most expensive player because I am MS Dhoni. And I went and won, you know, I'm one of the greats of the IPL. So it also depends on how experienced you are. And I think Sam Curran is young, very young. He's 23, 24, but mentally he's there. He's been winning tournaments for England. He's done everything.
There's something about him when you look at him. Call him Sam Current, right? This looks like he's charged up. There's something about him that is quite interesting to watch. Definitely an X-Factor player, and Punjab will be hoping he does that today. They have another X-Factor player in Prabh Simran who's going to be opening. Another exciting player, watch out for him. He was one of the top three, I think the third highest scorer in Syed Mushtaq Ali. So he's quite exciting there as well. And look at the names that are on that list, right? You have Yash Dhul, Prithvi Shaw, Prabh Simran Singh, and then there's Nitish Rana there as well. So I want to sneak this in to show you that he's been doing well in T20 as well. All right, well, that was a bit of trivia, but of course, the magical piece of trivia, the holy grail of all trivia, is the joy factor question. And we've got one for you today. Here it is.
Okay, this one I like because I have a feeling
that Michael Vaughan will know this.
100%.
I know that. I know this. I know it.
He knows it. I told you he knows this.
Which cricketer playing this tournament hit 9 sixes? I didn't memorize it, so you'll have to pull that back.
Put it up again on his test debut, on his debut test match, and also has the best one-day international bowling analysis for his country. And I will tell you why Michael Vaughan might know it.
Yes.
We'll tell you later, because Michael Vaughan definitely knows this. I thought he would.
Was Michael Vaughan... Okay, let me just ask you 20 questions. Is Michael Vaughan the answer?
No.
Okay. Did Michael Vaughan captain this person?
No. That's it. I'm not going to say anymore.
Does Michael Vaughan have the same zodiac sign as this person?
No,
yes, he's saying yes.
I don't know. I'm just nodding.
Good. I like
I'm trying to confuse everyone.
I like that you nodded. Okay, let's have a look at the impact players. Do we have the list of substitutes? Yeah, let's pull those up, because if you remember that both teams have to give... They have two different sheets with them, one if they're batting first and one if they're bowling first. So let's have a look at the impact players of the substitute list. Do we have that? There you go. For the Knight Riders, it's Suyash Sharma, a name that Sean Connery finds very difficult to pronounce. Vaibhav Arora, N. Jagadishan, Venkatesh Iyer and David Visa.
Which is interesting, because what could happen then is Anukul Roy could bowl, Venkatesh Iyer could bat.
Fair enough.
So you get Anukul Roy to bowl in the
By the way, Anukul Roy is a brilliant fielder as well.
Brilliant fielder.
He was playing in Mumbai as a fielder.
Correct. So you get him on the field, he'll bowl, he'll field, and Venkatesh Iyer comes in to bat, because obviously he's fit.
Nice. One second, how do they have David Visa as a substitute? Don't they have 4 foreigners already?
Yeah, actually David Visa can't.
Can we pull their team sheet back up and
I
just
don't
check?
think they can. Yeah, they have 4 foreigners.
They do. They have Gulbaz, Russell, Narayan and Saudi.
Yeah, Visa can't come in.
Okay, I don't know, man. I didn't know that was...
There's another interesting thing. Here's my theory. I believe that had Kolkata had to bat first, okay, and they were bowling second, you might have seen Lockie Ferguson play instead of Tim Southee. Because I believe they're looking for that early moisture that they still have in the pitch. And I feel if it had been another 1.5, 2 hours, it might have been Lockie playing.
Just so difficult for us to comment on 11s now, right? Because they're 2 different ones that they carry, depending on batting first and bowling first. We may have to change our game as well. All right, Punjab, who have they listed? The 5 they've listed: Rishi Dhawan, Atharva Taide, Matthew Short, Harpreet Singh Bhatia, and Mohit Rathi. I don't know. I can't guess.
3 bowlers. So 3 bowlers. Interesting. So Harpreet Singh Bhatia is only the batsman who are there. Is only. I mean, again, Matthew Short can't really work in that sense. Harpreet Singh Bhatia only works if you have a situation where you're 20 for 4 and you need that extra batsman.
Yeah.
So you sub him in early. Otherwise, you wait for the second innings, bring Rishi Dhawan in as your bowler. And he replaces one of the batsmen up front. Prabh Simran they can't because they keep. But of course, they have lots of keepers as well.
They have a few keepers there.
Yeah, Raju Baksa's there, Jitesh Sharma
is there. Punjab is the keeper. of keepers. That's what they do. All right, we're going to get out of here now. But before that, Mohali is where this game is happening. We're going to do our score guesses now and see who gets it right. So, Michael Vaughan, let's go with you first. Come on.
I'm gonna go 168.
168. That was my guess yesterday, wasn't it? No, I was 169 yesterday.
Yeah,
All right.
you are.
168. Where are you going?
I'm going again. This is early. 155.
You're going lower. I love it. So it's all open for me. I'm going to go 180. Yeah, I go with 180.
Yeah.
180.
Hold on to 180. You control the whole.
That's right. I control the board. Because here on Cricbuzz Live, I control everything. What, it's time to go? I never said that. Okay, fine, I shall listen to you. All right, it's time for us to go. But we will be back at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. So do join us then for a little update. Big thank you to Michael Vaughan joining us all the way from the UK, erstwhile Europe. And we enjoy Bhattacharjya joining us in Mumbai. He's not a hologram, erstwhile Bombay. And I'm Gaurav Kapur. This was Cricbuzz Live. Thank you for watching. We'll be here with you all day. Please be with us.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दो